The day Daniel Gray lost everything, the sun was shining. It wasn't a metaphorical kind of loss, it was the very real, gut-wrenching kind. His startup had failed, his fiancée had left him, his bank account was an abyss, and yet as he stood outside the courthouse with a letter of bankruptcy in one hand and an eviction notice in the other, the California sun beamed down like it hadn't gotten the memo that his life had just imploded. And still, oddly enough, Daniel smiled. Not because he was crazy, not because he didn't care, but because of something an old man named Joe had told him 2 years earlier, a story that would forever change the way Daniel looked at the world. 2 years earlier, Daniel was on a train bound for San Francisco, head buried in his laptop, headphones on, checking stock prices and emails like the world would collapse if he didn't refresh every 12 seconds. He was ambitious, impatient, driven. Life was a race, and he was determined to win. That's when the train jolted, and the voice of an elderly man interrupted his tunnel vision. "Young man," said the voice beside him, "did you see that eagle just now? It flew right by us. Magnificent creature." Daniel gave a polite nod, but didn't look up. He was closing a deal, an important one. "Young people these days," the man chuckled, "always chasing clouds while missing the sky." That made Daniel pause. The man extended a wrinkled hand. "Name's Joe. I used to be like you once. Thought success was about running faster, until I learned the art of slowing down and seeing the bright side." Daniel, half interested, asked, "The bright side of what?" "Everything," Joe said with a twinkle in his eye, "even the rain." Over the next hour, as the train weaved through the California countryside, Joe told Daniel his story. Joe had been a war veteran, a failed entrepreneur, and a widower by the time he was 40. "I was bitter, angry at the world," he said. "I saw problems in everything. Every cloud was just a cloud." But one day, after a particularly brutal storm, Joe walked outside to find something unexpected in his backyard. A lemon tree. He hadn't planted it. Turns out his neighbor had accidentally dropped lemon seeds there months ago. But the storm, the one he cursed so passionately, had watered it just enough to help it grow. That lemon tree became his symbol. "I decided from then on," Joe said, "to find the lemon trees in every storm. Not because life is perfect, but because my thoughts shape the story I tell myself." Daniel wasn't sure what to make of it, but something about Joe stuck with him. Fast forward to the day Daniel lost everything. His startup crumbled under market pressure, investors pulled out, his engagement ended after months of arguments and stress, and to top it off, his landlord gave him a week to move out. He could have drowned in despair. And for a moment, he nearly did. But then he remembered Joe, the train, the eagle, the lemon tree. He took a deep breath and asked himself one question. What's the lemon tree in this? It wasn't easy, but he started looking and thinking. Without the startup, he realized he had no more 14-hour workdays. That meant time, precious time, to rest, think, reconnect with his family. Without the relationship, as painful as the breakup was, he could finally work on the parts of himself he'd neglected. His health, his temper, his joy. Without the apartment, he was forced to move in with his old college roommate, someone who introduced him to a whole new network of creative thinkers. Day by day, Daniel began training his mind, not to ignore problems, but to see them through a new lens. Not why is this happening to me, but what is this teaching me? He wasn't delusional. He still cried, still worried. But his focus shifted from what he had lost to what he could now build. That's the quiet power of positive thinking. It doesn't deny reality. It transforms your relationship with it. Daniel picked up journaling. Every morning he wrote 3 things he was grateful for, big or small. He started walking more, watching the sky, noticing birds, just like Joe had on that train. He started a blog, sharing his journey of finding the lemon trees. At first, only a few people read it. Then a few dozen, then thousands. People were hungry for positivity, not the fake sugar-coated kind, but the real kind. The kind born from fire and rebirth. The kind that says, yes, life hurts, but we can heal, we can grow. He began speaking at events, schools, community centers, even correctional facilities. And one day he got a letter in the mail from Joe's daughter. Joe had passed away, but before he died, he told her to find Daniel. He always said, the letter read, that you were one of his lemon trees. 3 years after the worst day of his life, Daniel stood in front of a crowd of 5,000 people at a TEDx event. He wore a simple black shirt, jeans, and a lemon pin on his collar. He told them about the storm, about Joe, about losing everything and gaining even more. He ended with this: positive thinking is not pretending the storm isn't real. It's learning to dance in the rain. It's learning to see, really see, that sometimes the worst day of your life is actually planting something in you, something that needs time, water, sunlight, faith. You may not see the fruit today, but believe me, the lemon tree is coming. The crowd rose to their feet, but for Daniel, the most powerful applause was the one he gave himself, quietly, gratefully, every time he chose to look for the bright side. Life will test you. It will throw storms, heartbreaks, failures. And in those moments, you have a choice: curse the rain, or trust that it's watering something you can't yet see. Positive thinking isn't naive, it's courageous. It means waking up and choosing hope. It means believing that your story isn't over, just turning a page. So the next time it feels like everything's falling apart, remember Daniel, remember Joe, and ask yourself, what's the lemon tree in this? Because somewhere, hidden in the mess of it all, is the beginning of something beautiful. Do like, share, and subscribe.